What is a missionary? I've been asked this question so many times because I grew up a missionary kid. When I was 3, my parents picked up and flew my family across the world to a tiny island in obedience to God. When you hear the word missionary, the image that pops in your head might be someone who feeds hungry kids or digs wells. But missionaries come in all shapes and sizes, with all different kinds of passions and appointments and assignments, and the places they're called to do too. Every culture, every nation, every expression of the church throughout the world has its own needs and strengths and vision from the Lord. And that means that every missionary has a unique experience. So here's what life is really like for me as a missionary, for the meantime in Guyana. Amen. Stefan and I have been received here so incredibly well, and God knew exactly what he was doing by sending us here, because it turns out our exact skill set is what the churches in Guyana need. We've been entrusted with teaching worship and music to worship teams and youth groups all across the country.
Sweetie.
While that's a huge part of our life right now, it's still only part. There's also figuring out where to pay bills and how much things cost and what to eat and how to get around. We don't have a car, so we have a couple of options. We can either travel in a minibus, walk, or we ride a bike. Yes, a bike, singular. The first time was not this smooth and it's never comfortable, but it gets us places on time, and so far, in one piece.
Ah, そこじゃないです。
Additionally, on the list of things I've done for the first time since stepping out on the mission field are preaching for Sunday service, going over the river and through the woods to get to grandmother's house, yes, for real, and sleeping under a mosquito net. Guyana houses part of the Amazon rainforest, and if you don't sleep under one of these, which I neglected to do our first night, your skin ends up looking like this. And then you never make that mistake again. But besides the transportation and the bugs and the fairy tale journey to Granny's house, there was one more thing on my list of firsts that I never in my life anticipated. It happened one morning when I woke up early and walked outside and saw this. I know it's not a crazy concept, and I don't know why, but I've just never imagined having to wash my own clothes by hand. But almost immediately, something about it felt really exciting to me. So a few days later, it was my turn. We live a really exciting and a really simple life, because all the simple stuff is really exciting stuff. The regular parts of your life are a part of your life no matter where in the world you live or why you live there. And they're really important for a lot of reasons, but as missionaries, especially because they allow us to experience the culture of the place we live and connect with the people we're serving. So yeah, we travel all over the country and we see the literal God who created the universe come into rooms that we're in, and that's crazy. And also, your girl's gotta eat.
I'm going to buy some flour to bake some bread. I thought this up in my very own head. La 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 la. $300 for a bag of flour? What? Ooh, plantain flour. But the language. That's not German. No, it's not German. Okay, you're right, it is German. What is it?
Porch.
Every time it says on it. Gotta hear the camera. It's a soft, sweet beat. You can hear it?
Nope.
You guys are not gonna believe this. When I was young, my brothers and I used to fight over the banana candy in those fruit. This is all banana.
This is the first moment I realized I was experiencing culture shock. Culture shock is the feeling of disorientation experienced by someone when they're suddenly subjected to an unfamiliar culture. I recognized culture shock inside myself, not because I saw anything I've never seen in a grocery store before, but because I saw things I was used to seeing in America, and I suddenly became aware of how much I missed the foods I'm used to eating. But we'll come back to that later.
Today we're going to the market.
On this day, we opted for the minibus instead of our bike, and the Lord was so kind to us because usually these minibuses blast the most terrible, crude music you've ever heard, and I hate it. But Stefan and I always pray that the Lord will protect our ears and our hearts. And this day, we got a bus called the Pink Butterfly, and the music was so soft and sweet, and it even had these cute sayings decorated all around on the inside, which I'll just say is also opposite to what the interior decor is usually like. Grocery shopping here is so different because everything is sort of backwards. Foods that are cheap in America are the most expensive things to get here, like butter and cheese, even though there are cows everywhere, and produce from the market here is the cheapest place to buy fruits and veggies. None of this is better or worse than what I'm used to. It's just different. It feels worse that a block of butter costs $1 million because of my preferences, but really, it's just different.
Hello. Good morning. You know which plant does which thing?
Everything.
Out of all these plants?
For 5 years. Got different oil, you got carb oil, castor oil, coconut oil, olive oil, different medicines. And medicines to everything.
So you make tea and drink it?
Yeah.
The feeling of disorientation experienced in culture shock is because of unfamiliarity with what's happening, not because whatever's happening is a bad thing. Most of us experience culture shock on micro levels every day. We grew up with family cultures, church culture, school culture, work culture. We live in a montage of mixed cultures, constantly.
White. What's white tea?
There's a fruit jacket so fun. And then on the inside is a kind of white thing with a seal. So this
Oh, it's like Padu.
Oh, that what it's called?
That's what it looks like.
So you can eat this spot.
Padu. We have this tree outside our house. Hurry up with this.
In your hand.
Alright.
Till you find the chair.
Okay.
Whenever something unexpected happens as a result of the way someone else was raised clashing with the way we were raised, boom, culture shock. We just don't really call it that. We call it rude or interesting or maybe even upsetting. The thing is, you were just invited into the broadening of your cultural understanding. You were invited into more, into a bigger picture of the body of Christ, God's dreams for family, a higher standard of excellence, whatever else it is. Culture shock may just be your reaction to a wonderful invitation.
I just bite into it.
Oh god. Yeah, buddy.
Slime getting stuck in between our teeth.
Here's the thing, buddy.
You know what it tastes like? When you make oatmeal, leave it to sit for like a day and it gets slimy. That's what it tastes like.
You didn't eat that?
Yeah. It's still good, it's just slimy. Talk to him.
Hello. Puppies? Oh, okay, good.
Remember when you were a kid and your parents told you get to experience all these things when you got older and you felt like older would never come? Well, now it's here, and most of the time we treat it like more of a chore than anything else. Having to make decisions, planning our schedules, preparing our meals, all the stuff we do as adults. We forget that we get to do the things we do now. We get to make decisions. We get to seek the Lord about how to use our time. We get to choose what we want to eat. The second and third and fourth time I washed laundry by hand, it wasn't exciting anymore. But then I remembered that the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a missionary in a foreign country, and my job is literally just to live in this land. And younger me would be in awe of the places God has taken my life. So I try to apply that remembrance to everything that might start to lose its enjoyment. I'm just grateful to be here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Not a sponsored video, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Bruh.
More fire.
Check to see if that next one. There he is. Get him.
It's a fly.
Bruh. His wing fell off. This one's still fighting up.
Let him go in peace, man. Or,
In pieces.
you see, you must let them suffer and then. You can't hear it, right? But the cockroach and them crying out in the cockroach language.
Oh, so the other ones.
The other ones will hear, correct. And they will know that the dog don't play.
Come. Hey, kill
Ah,
him.
she sprayed us work, right? But this don't miss. Right? Don't miss, boy. The grounded flex.
Alright.
Oh, let's stay safe. 1, 2's on. I'm shooting this one here now. Bring him out. Call him out.
Come.
There he is. Oh, it's a fly.
It was
I'm a ground out flight. Grounded flight. One time, brother.
good.
Tell me about that partner. That is a no fly zone.
A whole family, mom and dad and children too.
Hey, you have to be a gracious winner. You don't dance and no.
That's what you want? You want the crackers? No crackers for you.
But I'll tell you what, even though we didn't start on good terms, I still want to share some very good news with you. Jesus Christ has died for all of our sins. That means the water meeting maker possibly. If any of you are unsure, well, I want to give you the chance to be sure. Unless you accept Jesus Christ, because no one can come to the Father except through Him. So unless you believe on Him, then you can't be saved. But I'm here to extend that invitation to you tonight. So right where you are, just hold your hand to.
I see that hand.
Yep, that's it, brother. I see you. I see that foot. I see you. I see you.
I see that hand.
Amen. Wait. This one manifested.
Get the oil, get the oil.
Get the water. Get out! What's he? Hold him down, brother. Hold him down right now. Out. Right now. Out. Get out. Hey, get out. Release. Calm. Hey. Hey, get out. Trimming the dustpan and ask question.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Teamwork!
Yeah. Tell me nothing tomorrow, what's it? But don't remember.
Remember?
Put them on Facebook.
Losing electricity is actually something I'm very used to, so whenever this happens, it doesn't catch me by surprise.
Yeah!
Growing up, whenever power went, my brothers and I would get so excited. We'd light all the candles in the house and play board games or stargaze or start a bonfire outside and cook our meals on the fire. It made for some of our favorite memories. Stefan and I spent this power outage playing music on the porch and writing a song for our future daughter. We don't have hot water in our house, and when we first got here, that was the hardest transition to grapple with because I love my 2-hour-long scalding hot showers. I love them. And all of a sudden, I had to say goodbye to something I hadn't even realized I'd agreed to leave behind. But somewhere in the middle of wincing from the pain of cold water on my skin, something so life-changing happened. I remembered. Something clicked in my brain. I've experienced this before. When I was little, growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, we'd lose water all the time and have to bathe by dipping cold water out of a bucket to wash ourselves. On a special day, Mom would heat up water on the stove to make it warmer, and Dad would be waiting outside the shower with a huge warm blanket. I don't know how in the world I forgot about that, but as I stood in the ice pouring down out of the tap and remembered, I knew this wouldn't be so bad. I'd done it before and I could do it again. And by it, I don't just mean cold showers, I mean the transition. The adaptation, the enduring culture shock until it doesn't shock my senses into rejection of the experience anymore. If I can just remember, I can do it.
It's like I see a whole year going. Everything went good, no problem, and I was able to do what I had in mind to do.
Nice.
And I thank God for that.
A missionary isn't just someone who goes to a new place to tell people about Jesus. A missionary is someone who carries the gospel to new places, which requires something we call enculturation. Enculturation is the adaptation of Christian worship to a non-Christian cultural background. That just means making Jesus relevant to people where they're at. And that's actually something we're all called to. In the Bible, Paul is a great example of a missionary. He was all things to all men, and he was able to explain Jesus to anyone. Thankfully, I haven't had to learn a new language here, but I have had to learn a new cultural context to speak into. And I'm learning it by riding a minibus,
You can do it,
and
breathe.
washing my clothes by hand and showering in cold water.
You're halfway there. You're so cool.
Remembering can be your best friend or your greatest enemy, and you get to decide which one it is. You could remember and complain it's not like it used to be,
This could
or
go very
you can
bad.
remember and be thankful for what made you who you
It's
are.
going very well.
After that shower, remembering became my
You
weapon.
okay?
Every time I found myself in an uncomfortable situation, I would just ask the Lord to remind me of something He took me through in the past. And here's what I realized. The life God has given you has been perfectly crafted to forge you into the person you're meant to be. I didn't choose to hop on an airplane at 3 years old. I didn't choose to be born into a musical family. I didn't know till years after I stopped bathing with a bucket of water that I'd one day be called to a land where that was my only option. But God did. I don't know where God has called you to be or what He's called you to do, but I do know that every little detail of your life, just as it played out in childhood and just as it is right now, is imperative for the you He's going to use 5, 10, 15 years down the road. You weren't chucked into this world carelessly. You were given into this life. And you were given this life, the life you have. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you right now, but I promise you, it's intentional beyond what you could ever imagine.
I love plenty water.
That's a good one, man.
Your reward. jigsaw. Bro, watch out. Champion.
There was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's good.
Real sweet. This is the best coconut water we've had since we've been here.
Hi. Lovely.
Lovely. Cheers.
Oh, lyric. That's the best thing.
Sometimes it's easier to focus on what we don't have because we don't have a lot of things we're used to having. We don't have a washer and dryer, we don't have a car, we don't have warm water, sometimes we don't have electricity, but we always have everything we need. So if instead of focusing on what we don't have, we focus on everything we need, then we'd be focusing on everything we already have. And I'm still learning this, but we truly have so much more than enough.
Glory. And cassava? So I call Glory.
You know?
Know what?
What kind of tree that is?
Yeah,
What kind of tree is it?
the big tree.
Squirrel.
Oh, wait, let's go back. Whoa! Where are we?
When I was little, my family used to go to a park, and when I say park, I don't mean swings and a slide and monkey bars. I mean just grass. We'd get burgers on the way, which were the best burgers in the world, by the way, with pineapple inside them. And when we got to the park, we'd walk around. That's all we'd do. We'd just walk. And we would have so much fun. And I don't even know why it was so much fun. When Stefan's aunt and uncle took us here to walk around, I was almost immediately transported back to my childhood, having so much fun for no reason.
What? Let me try again.
Everything about missionary life isn't always happy and sunny, but moments like these remind me that I was always meant to be here. I was born into a world where the rain would pour down so hard that we'd lose electricity, and my brothers and I would run outside to take rain showers, not because we had to, but because we loved to. I didn't know what being a missionary would be like when I said yes to God. I knew what it looked like for my parents and that I get to travel the world. But I seriously never could have imagined the wonder and gratitude and joy, or the culture shock in the very midst that I feel daily. So I can tell you what a missionary is, but if you really want to know what it's like to be a missionary, I guess it's time for you to respond to Matthew 28:19. Go and make disciples of all nations, and then you will know for yourself even better than me. Because this is my simple little beautiful life. And yours awaits you.
You know, it's you, man.